Hello, my name's Benjamin Lonetree, and I moved to the desert southwest approximately 11 years ago. And of course, my first trip to Sedona and visiting the stores, I heard a lot about their mysterious vortex energy. And in the beginning, I was quite a skeptic. I'm an electrical engineer by profession, so naturally, the thought of a mysterious energy or force up here was a little bit beyond me. Well, I could say after 11 years of research here with large induction coils, magnetometers, and also this, which is made by NeuroSky for monitoring brain waves, I can definitively say that vortex energy does exist here. So what is a vortex and what is this mysterious energy? Within the Earth, there's a lot of molten metal, molten rocks. The core of the Earth is molten, then it's churning, and that creates the planet's magnetic field. Now, that magnetic field protects us. It protects us against storms that occur on the sun, coronal mass ejections, CMEs they call them for short. And when the sun produces these and it hits our magnetic field, it goes around us. And if we didn't have that magnetic field there, it would definitely, this planet wouldn't exist. The sun would burn it to a burned out ember. So we have the Earth's magnetic field, which is emitting through the ground from the center of the Earth, and it surrounds the planet. Now, many, many millennia ago, this area was very volcanic. A lot of volcanoes going on, and whenever you had the volcanic activity, you have a lot of old lava shafts. So, as those the volcanic activity stopped, those shafts are still in place. So in the beginning, when I was thinking about the vortex energy, and I brought my first magnetometer up here to measure the magnetic field in the area, I detected a bunch of abnormalities. I noticed that the magnetism emanating from the Earth was a lot stronger here in Sedona than what it is at other places. Now, why is that? Predominantly, in my opinion, it's due to all of the iron oxide, Fe2O3. Rust. That's what gives the rocks and the soil its reddish color. Now, because Fe2O3 is part of the mineral iron, the Fe2O3 iron oxide will align the Earth's natural magnetism, so when it emits out of the ground, it's in alignment. Now, within the core of the Earth, there exists, and science knows this, what's called non-dipole magnetism. It doesn't have a north pole and it doesn't have a south pole. It's just pure magnetism. And it's turning and it's spinning around. So one school of thought is that magnetism finds its way into the old solidified volcanic lava shafts, the tubes, of which there are undoubtedly more than just a few of them up here in Sedona. And that magnetism heads up that shaft because the shaft is made of certain mineral and metallic composition that will align the magnetism and let it come up. Now, when that emits through the Earth, as it's traveling up the old volcanic shaft, it's going to spin. So when it emits out of the ground, it's in a vortex spinning-like action. Now, whenever magnetic energy leaves the ground, it has to find a point where it can reconnect back into the Earth's main magnetic field. That's the laws of physics. So what I am finding, when I have my equipment set up on a vortex and I am measuring the magnetic energy that's emitting from the ground, from the planet, I have seen it spiral outwards. That's called an outflow of energy. And when it reconnects back into the planet, that's an inflow. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to happen within a few feet of each other. You can have an outflow on one point, at one spot, one location. 200-300 feet away, it can reconnect back into the Earth again, which is going to be the inflow. And I have proved that. If you go to my website, SedonaAnomalies.com, you will see all of the charts and all of the graphs showing the magnetic activity that I've recorded here over the last decade. The U.S. Geological Survey, back in 2003, did what's called an aeromagnetic survey. In other words, they used a magnetometer similar to mine, but a lot smaller, that was on board or mounted underneath an airplane, and they flew over this entire area. Now, they do that basically to look for water deposits. If you can see magnetic abnormalities within the ground through other means, and however they do it, they can detect, okay, there's probably underground water here, there's water over there. And water, even in the high desert like Sedona, could be a commodity. So in their report, which I have published on my website, they state they have found a lot of magnetic anomalies within the Earth, predominantly over the Sedona area. Deep below the mountains here, and deep below the red iron oxide, there exists basalt, there's limestone, and there's also a lot of quartz. Now, they have found that quartz, they refer to it as latite. It's actually a basalt that has quartz embedded into the basalt. And basalt, by the way, is very volcanic, or a product of volcanoes. They have found that the deposits of crystal that are beneath Sedona are emitting their own magnetic field as well as distorting the Earth's magnetic field. So we have several things at work. We have the Earth's natural magnetism emitting through the ground, and we also have layers of quartz that are generating their own magnetic field, some of them even reverse polarized, and they also distort what the Earth is producing itself. Now, either that magnetism, to turn it into a vortex, it's coming up the old volcanic tubes, or it's simply traveling through the layers of quartz and the layers of limestone and the layers of iron oxide, sandstone, iron oxide in the sandstone, and because that is aligning and focusing that magnetic, magnetic atoms, it emits through the ground, already concentrated, already focused. Okay, so with that, we know that's what's going on here. All right, how does magnetism affect human emotion and human thought? At this point, if you get an opportunity, go to, do a search on Dr. Michael Persinger. In fact, again, if you go to my website, I have a link to his research. Now, Dr. Persinger up at Laurentia University in Canada has experimented with what's called the Corin helmet. Now, the Corin helmet resembles a footbell helmet, but there are coils of wire embedded inside of the helmet. Now, Dr. Persinger, and he's been at this probably 12 to 14 years, so he has a lot of years to definitively say this is what he can do with the equipment. He will inject into the helmet rotating magnetic fields. He'll take a coil here, he'll take a coil that's over on the other side, and he'll use a computer-generated electrical current that'll go into the coils. He'll have it rotate, again, operated by the computer. So he creates magnetic fields and rotates them over the temporal lobes of the brain. By doing this, he has been able to give subjects, test people, predominantly his students at the university, the feeling that God is standing behind them, or there's a presence in the room with them. So he's able to show that this does work. Magnetism can affect the way that our brains function, and hence our emotions, our thoughts, and other things. So what I feel is happening here in Sedona, because we have outflows of magnetic energy, they are stimulating the temporal lobes of the brain, and we're able to have feelings of what a great place this is. Besides the natural beauty, you have the Earth's natural magnetism, which is taking you into that place, providing the ambience where you can do inner work or you can do outer work. A lot of stuff can happen here. It's just a fantastic place. And I have to reiterate, 11 years ago when I first got here, I went, yeah, sure, vortex energy, okay. I don't come from Missouri, but I should have. The show me state, you got to prove it. Well, I've proved it to myself. Now, another school of thought along that Either the natural magnetism, which is outflowing from the planet here, is either stimulating the temporal lobes of our brain, or it's being detected by magnetite in our inner ear fluid, and through other processes, electrical impulses are sent into the brain, and we're having the experience that way. A good example, if you look at geese. Geese know in the fall it's time to fly to the south, and in the spring it's time to fly north, so they have a natural internal compass. So do whales, so do dolphins, so do a lot of other mammals. Now, I had a very, very dear friend years ago that was one of the creators of the MRI CAT scan, and he did quite a bit of study with people that suffered from fibromyalgia, and he had a sleep lab built on his property after he retired. And he has found that predominantly in women, they have a very high concentration of magnetite in their inner ear fluid as compared to men. So if we go along those lines, that the magnetite, being magnetic, is detecting the magnetic energy that's leaving the earth, sending electrical impulses up into the brain, we could be picking up on what's happening here through that medium rather than just having the energy stimulate the temporal lobes. Either way, it is happening. Now, this device, oh, and by the way, just because women have an 80% higher amount of magnetite in their inner ear fluid doesn't mean that men can't experience what goes on here. They can. I think we just have to be a little bit more cognizant and a little bit more aware. We have to quiet ourselves more to be able to pick up on the subtle energies. Women can do it naturally. They have from day one. And that's pretty obvious if you look back through history. A lot more sensitive, and they know they're able to pick up on a lot more subtle energies than what we are. Now, this is the NeuroSky brainwave monitor. And when I am out in the field, I will wear this, and along with one of my recording computers, this is linked via Bluetooth, and it monitors my brainwaves. So what I will be doing is monitoring electrical or electromagnetic energy, magnetic energy, with the induction coil with one computer, and the second computer is monitoring what's going on within my brainwaves. And again, I show all this on the website. If you go to it again, SedonaAnomalies.com, look for the link that says Sedona Effect, and that gives a pretty big detail of what I've done up here. Now, our brainwaves can be categorized as alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma, and then a whole bunch of stuff in between. Low alpha, low theta, high theta. When we're in deep sleep at night, technically we should go into deep delta for at least 2 hours. Then we get a good night's rest. Not all of us could do that though. Ideally, we want to be in dominant alpha or dominant theta, because that's a state of meditation and a state of very, very relaxed. So when you meditate, predominantly you will have brainwave activity at alpha and at theta. Now, sitting in the vortex energy here, and again, I show it on the website, I have noticed during an outflow of magnetic energy, and I show the charts, you can see the magnetism increase, which is an outflow, and it'll go in a positive direction on the graph. And at the same time, you can see where the brainwave data within my brain is also spiking. So every time there's an outflow, there's a change within my mind where I'm going into dominant theta and dominant alpha. So you have the natural beauty here to take you to a great place where you feel really good, but you also have Mother Earth herself stimulating your mind to help you get to that place. Just phenomenal. Remarkable. Now, in an outflow, I have found when that takes me into a state of alpha theta, and I'm doing this with other people, by the way, too, so it's not a matter of just testing it on myself and by doing other people, then definitively we can say this is the effect that it has. The difficulty with that is everybody is different, and it's not like turning on a light switch. Depending what's going on within your mind, you're not going to sit on a vortex and instantly go to where you need to be to do inner work or to do outer work. Depends upon the person. And there's a bunch more people that we're going to be testing, so we can definitively say, yep, that's what's going on here. Just a fantastic place. Now, Sedona is also known for a place to receive information or to project information, to do inner work, to do external work, and that undoubtedly is due to the magnetism stimulating us to put us in a frame of mind where things like that can happen. If you understand the workings of a transistor has a layer of silicon, quartz, it has a layer of insulating material, and then on the other side of that insulating material it has a metal. And that could be anything from gold to beryllium oxide to several other things. Now, a transistor, as we know, amplifies signals. You have transistors that are in radios, transistors inside of here, although they're built into integrated circuits. So there's a lot of speculation that the area up here in Sedona could be a large transmitter or a large receiver. That's really a leap of faith on my point, and I haven't developed the equipment to see if that's reality, but give me time and I'll work on it. The main thing, so you know when you're here and you visit, the vortex energy is very, very real. And what you do with that energy is up to you. As said, Dr. Persinger uses generated magnetic fields in a laboratory setting, and people are able to have this experience. That sounds very, very synthesized. I do not believe that's what's happening up here. Mother Earth is generating her magnetic field, so what we experience is not synthesized. Personally, I feel that what we experience here alters us. It enables our minds to tap into other realities, perhaps other dimensions, and that's where we're able to do the work. So there's more to it than just sitting in a nice spot on the planet being subjected to what the Earth is doing. There's a lot more to it. The bottom line in all of this, it shows how connected we are to the planet, how much a part of her that we are. We're not just critters walking around on here. I worked with a bunch of Native Americans from the Navajo Nation back in 1999-2000, and I hadn't been to Sedona yet. And one Navajo gentleman asked me, he says, have you been to Sedona? And I said, no. He says, you need to go. That's where Mother Earth speaks. And today I understand precisely what he meant. This is where she talks, literally. Humanity has forgotten so many things. I think our ancestors were very in touch with the planet, very in tune with what was going on, especially the women. And it would be nice to get back to that. We can. We've just forgotten how. There's so much external stimulation and material things going on, we have forgotten how to reconnect with the planet. So I hope this video explains what's happening here scientifically, and if you have any questions, go to my website. My email is on the bottom of it. Send me an email and I'm more than happy to discuss it. Any criticism or anything you care to talk about, because I do have the data to back up what I'm claiming up here. It's a fantastic place. I hope at some point, if you're ever able to get out here, please do. Definitely one of the prettiest places on the planet, and also a very rare place where a lot of energy emits that's very, very beneficial for you. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as said, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'm more than willing to discuss anything and everything. Thank you.